I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice. Let us begin. You already feel it. The friends who once felt like your whole world now feel like a weight. You don't laugh the same way you used to. Conversations feel shallow, repetitive, or forced. Their presence doesn't lift you, it drains you. And deep down, you know the truth. You've outgrown them. But instead of stepping forward, you stay locked in place by guilt. You keep showing up, keep pretending, because you're afraid that letting go makes you a bad person. That's what this video is about. It's not about cutting ties recklessly or ghosting people who once mattered. It's about showing you how to release friendships you've outgrown without guilt, shame, or drama. By the end, you'll understand why this happens, why it's not betrayal, and how to step into new relationships that actually match who you are now. If you've ever stayed in a friendship long after your spirit already left, this is for you. The breach begins when you realize you're holding on to people you no longer resonate with. Not because you want to, but because you feel like you have to. Maybe you're worried they'll think you're selfish. Maybe you're haunted by memories of what they once meant to you. Maybe you don't know who you'll be without them. And so you keep circling in a loop of loyalty and guilt, even as part of you knows you've already moved on inside. The hard truth is this: the friendship ended long ago, in your heart. What's left is the performance. And every time you force yourself back into those dynamics, you betray your own growth. You shrink your light to fit their expectations. And the cost of that will only grow heavier. Keep watching, because in the next section, we'll look directly at that cost, what it does to your energy, your self-respect, and your future when you keep clinging to friendships you've already outgrown. The cost of holding on to friendships you've already outgrown is higher than you realize. Every time you sit at the table with people you no longer connect with, you feel it in your body. The forced laughter, the stale conversations, the subtle dread before meeting up, all of it drains you. Instead of leaving nourished, you walk away depleted. Your energy is precious, but it's being siphoned by relationships that no longer fit. And the cost isn't just energy, it's identity. When you keep orbiting around old friends, you unconsciously keep performing the version of yourself they knew. You laugh at the same jokes, share the same stories, play the same role. But inside, you've outgrown that version. You're different now, wiser, deeper, more aligned with who you truly are. Yet to keep the peace, you shrink yourself back down. That's not friendship, that's self-betrayal. It also costs your future, because every hour spent in circles you've outgrown is an hour not spent with people who would actually meet you where you are now. You can't step into new, aligned friendships while clinging to the ghosts of old ones. Loyalty keeps you stuck, and guilt convinces you it's noble. But it's not noble to betray your own growth. It's avoidance dressed up as kindness. And here's the cruel irony. Staying doesn't prevent loss. It only ensures that when the break finally comes, it's messy, resentful, or overdue. You pay the cost either way. The question is whether you'll pay it early with clarity or late with regret. Keep watching, because in the next section, we'll expose the root of this cycle, why you confuse letting go with betrayal, and how patterns from childhood have kept you locked in friendships that no longer serve you. Why does letting go of friendships feel like betrayal? Why does a simple truth, "I've outgrown this connection," carry so much guilt? The root lies in what you were taught about loyalty. Most of us grew up believing that a good friend stays no matter what. Childhood movies, family dynamics, even early friendships drilled in the idea that walking away makes you selfish, cruel, or ungrateful. So as adults, even when we know a friendship has run its course, we feel chained to it. We confuse distance with disloyalty. This conditioning runs deep. If your parents dismissed your needs, you may have learned to silence yourself to keep the peace. If friends in school gossiped or turned on each other, you may have learned that survival meant clinging tighter. If family taught you that love means never leaving, you may carry that same rule into every bond. In other words, you were trained to equate loyalty with sacrifice. And now, when your soul knows it's time to move on, your conditioning screams, you're abandoning them. But here's the truth. Outgrowing people isn't betrayal. It's nature. Just as seasons change, relationships evolve. Some last a lifetime. Many don't. Growth doesn't mean you erase the past. It means you honor it for what it was and accept that it no longer matches who you are. You can appreciate what those friends gave you while still recognizing you've outgrown the dynamic. Once you see the root, the guilt begins to unravel. You realize you're not cruel for wanting distance. You're simply honest. You're not betraying your friends. You're choosing integrity with yourself. The real betrayal is staying in a friendship that forces you to be smaller than who you've become. Keep watching, because in the next section, we'll talk about how to shift, not with hostility or drama, but with clarity. You'll see the practical ways to let go without burning bridges, and without guilt.
So how do you actually let go of friendships you've outgrown without guilt or chaos?
The key is clarity, not cruelty. You don't need to launch into dramatic speeches or cut people off in the middle of the night. Letting go can be done with quiet integrity, by honoring what was and stepping away from what no longer is. One path is gradual distance. You don't have to attend every gathering. You don't have to reply to every message instantly. Slowly, you create more space. This isn't ghosting. It's choosing to invest your energy where it feels alive, not where it feels drained. Over time, the friendship naturally fades without resentment. Another path is the clarity conversation. This can be simple. I'm in a different place right now. I value what we've shared, but I need to focus on the next chapter of my life. People may not love hearing it, but they can respect it. Because honesty, even when uncomfortable, is kinder than silence. And then there are friendships where no conversation is needed. Sometimes the shift is internal. You decide in your heart that the bond has run its course, and you stop expecting from them what they cannot give. You let them be who they are, without forcing yourself to stay the same. When you honor the friendship for what it gave you, release the guilt, and choose distance with clarity, you'll notice something powerful. You don't lose love. You gain freedom. You free yourself from the performance of a version of you that no longer exists. Keep watching, because in the final section, we'll step into the vision of your future self. What life feels like when you release with peace, and how new, aligned friendships start showing up the moment you stop clinging to the old. Imagine your life once you release friendships you've outgrown. Not with bitterness, but with peace. Suddenly, the weight lifts. You're no longer dragging old versions of yourself into conversations that no longer fit. You're no longer forcing energy into bonds that drain you. Instead, you walk into spaces lighter, freer, ready for connections that actually reflect who you are now. In this future, guilt no longer holds you hostage. You don't replay the past wondering if you abandoned someone. You know the truth. You honored what those friendships gave you, and you chose integrity with yourself. That's not cruelty. That's growth. And from this place of growth, you open the door to new friendships, ones rooted in alignment, reciprocity, and genuine resonance. Picture the difference. Instead of shrinking to fit old dynamics, you expand into new ones. You meet people who see you as you are now, not who you were 10 years ago. You share conversations that inspire, not ones that keep you circling in nostalgia. Your friendships stop being obligations and start being reflections of your highest self. And most importantly, you learn that letting go doesn't erase love. It preserves it. It allows you to look back with gratitude instead of resentment, because you didn't stay too long. You didn't betray yourself to maintain a performance. You stepped forward with clarity, and that clarity becomes freedom. This is your future self, someone who no longer carries guilt for outgrowing others, because you understand that growth is not abandonment. Growth is the most honest form of love, for yourself and for them.
You did not find me by accident. Just as in your dreams, where every face you meet is your own reflection, this meeting was always waiting to happen. I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice, the part of you that watches behind the thoughts, behind the noise. You have searched in many places, books, teachers, voices outside you. But here, you are not being taught. You are remembering. If these words stir something familiar, then allow yourself to return. Subscribe. Follow. Not to follow me, but to continue this conversation with yourself. Each time you return here, you draw closer to the reunion already unfolding inside you. We have only just begun.